Welcome to the Horror Friendly Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Horror Friendly Podcast, part of the You Run Podcast Network. My name is Katie, and I am joined by Chantelly Telltale.
Hi, 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 hi.
Hey,
How's it going?
it's going well. It's going well. We're just talking about something exciting we're doing next weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, by the time this comes out, it'll be close.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've got all my dates muddled up in my head. Yeah,
No, it will be close.
And we get to see each other in human form. It's going to be very exciting.
It will be exciting. We'll probably post a lot of stuff about it. So just keep an eye on socials and you'll see what we're up to this weekend.
But do we just dive straight into this one?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we are covering the 2014. Now, I do have to read out the genres because this is cracking me up. The 2014 horror, romance, comedy, western, short melodrama, drama, suspense, noir, indie film, and mystery. A girl walks home alone at night.
I mean, yeah, that covers pretty much everything.
To be fair, I saw the first two and it was like horror western, and I was like, not film noir, and then that was later down.
There you go.
Directed by I think it's Anna, but it's Anna with one N, so it might be Anna. Directed by Anna Lily Armipor. Arash's life of misery consists of a cat, an addicted father, and a harassing drug dealer until he bumps into a lonesome lady vampire who becomes his escape.
Ooh.
Katie, this was your suggestion. Had you seen it before?
Never seen it before. I knew nothing about it. Didn't even know it was an Iranian film. I didn't even know it was a vampire film or anything, let alone a fucking skateboarding western. So no, I knew nothing about this film. I just had heard, when I was looking up a lot of feminist horror films, this one came up a lot.
Right.
And I just thought, that's kind of what our podcast is about. So why not give it a go? But yeah, what about you? Had you seen it? Had you heard of it?
I hadn't actually, no. And then you suggested it. And I think you even said oh yeah, it's this feminist vampire film. And I was like, okay. And then started watching it and I forgot the vampire element until I saw her fangs. And I was like, oh yeah.
I forgot.
Kate, you did mention a vampire. And I just completely, by that point, I was like, I think that, again, the skateboarding, fucking iconic. That was actually, I was like, that is a vibe. That is stunning. That was also the long shots was the director. Because the director is a skateboarder. So she really wanted that in there. And I was like, that is amazing. I also actually really liked the opening, as he was walking past the just dug out of bodies. And I was like, oh, wonderful, mass murderer, what is happening? And that really pulled me in. Outside of that, though, it was a bit there was good elements, but I think this was just very artsy. And I struggle with artsy films because I know there's a place for them, and there's a place for them in horror, but I struggle with them because it is almost look at this metaphor and look at this. We're going to take 5 minutes of a lady dancing with a balloon and it's going to, mean that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I just want to see the stabbing. I just want to know why there's an entire trench of bodies. So I was, because loads of people were like, oh my God, this film's amazing. I loved it. And I was like, again, did I miss something?
Yeah, what is going on this season?
I don't know, and I apologize because I've said it before with artsy films, is they're not really for me. I think I watch films to enjoy and unwind, so when I'm like, oh yeah, I've got to figure out the metaphor.
Yeah, because it's not like you don't even want traditional horror, because we've covered lots of non-traditional horror, but it's more is it going to keep me engaged? So I do get where you're coming from. Yeah, I liked more of the film than I disliked. I did feel that at some points it was really slow. I thought a lot of the shots, I understood where it was coming from, what it was trying to sort of convey, but it just, to me, it was kind of getting a bit on. It was only an hour 40, but there were certain bits that did drag. Some bits were quite long. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. But there was, like you said, the beginning bit really drew me in. And just the idea of her stalking men at night, I'm sure we'll get into it properly, but it just turns that role around so well, in women. It's 100% normally women. I really liked the way she was like the use of the chador that she was wearing, like as if it was her cape, basically, like her superhero cape or whatever, or her villain cape, however you want to see it. But like I love the use of that, and then like how that's kind of got like Iranian kind of like the culture in as well, and it's sort of combined the Iranian culture and horror. And I think that's really nice how they did that. And just random fucking skateboarding, because the director loves skateboarding. I did think of you because I was like, Tell would choose skating, but you know.
Yeah. Only because I've not really been on a skateboard since I was a kid, but I'd give it a go. But yeah, I'd probably go on my roller skates instead. But yeah, you're right, because when it was like her silhouette and there was like men like, oh, seeing her across the street, it was that. And it was so iconic. And I was like, that is stunning. That is an amazing shot. And that's the thing, some of the shots in this were brilliant, but they just felt, long and just not unnecessary, because again, they were visually stunning, but sometimes it was just held there for so long and you're like, okay. And again, her stalking men at night, like, again, love that kind of gender swap, love that feminist take on it. I get, maybe not feminist, but that take on it. But then I did see someone being like, oh yeah, this is really feminist, because the two women, when they were having the conversation, I was like, that's not, wait, sorry, two women are we're allowed to have emotions, we're allowed to have conversations, that's not feminism. That, and it just made me laugh. That I was like, is that what surprises people, that women have feelings, that we have insight and thoughts? And it just made me laugh that I was like, hang on. Like, I was like, that shouldn't be this incredible breakthrough in films when two women can hold a conversation. I
know. It was weird. It was like those two, they kind of had like a weird relationship, like you know, when obviously the dad, Hussein, I think it was, he, like when she killed him, they kind of like buried the body together and kind of had like a joint like secret that they had together, but they didn't really say a lot. Like there was a few conversations, but it was like, and when she like followed her home, I thought like, wait, this isn't in her, like she normally kills men, like why is she like deterring to women? But like obviously then it was a different situation, but it kind of felt like there was almost like a little partnership there, that she was willing to help her bury the body. It was weird. It was sort of like a weird relationship.
It was an odd one, which again, like not every relationship is going to be like, oh, best buddies and rah, but it was
it's weird. It's a weird one. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting this.
No, I was expecting more dialogue. Which again, I don't know if that's kind of what I struggled with, because I know you can watch a film and be like, oh, that's how the story's moving forward, but I was a bit like, I need a little bit more dialogue. And again, that's just personal. That's not.
No, that's fair. But like, I did like the character of Arash, who was like the main kind of protagonist, I guess. I felt like a lot of people had kind of let him down. Like the girl he kind of fancied and worked for wasn't interested in him. His dad was like obviously like a heroin addict and just was focusing on that, and like was lonely in his own way, I guess. But he didn't really have anyone. So I think when he met the girl, it was like it was something different about that. And like talking about the dialogue, like she didn't really have to say much, but it was more him that was saying stuff. It was like, so you could tell how, like, I don't know, he seemed very invested in the relationship really quickly.
He like wanted someone to open up to and hear him. So it's kind of sweet, and it was kind of
sweet.
It was nice, and actually someone pointed it out, but I was like, but at the end they're together, but they hadn't kissed, they hadn't slept together. And it was like, actually, how many films do you see that where it's like, actually they're now a couple, but we haven't had to do all these extra lengths and everything else?
That's true. So, there's been no real like intimacy between them, apart from, you know, a few kind of like, well, I guess there was that one scene which I really enjoyed when she puts the record on, and like that was quite a slow scene, but I quite liked that, because it was quite tense. Like you didn't know if they were going to kiss, what was going to happen, and it ended up just them kind of being like nuzzled into each other's whatever.
Which was a bit sweet, odd, but I also think kind of sweet, because that's almost more what they needed. Like it wasn't, oh my god, I just want to sleep with you. It was being close to someone. As opposed to Saeed, who was the pimp, who literally had sex tattooed across his neck or his chest, and I was like, a little on the nose. His dancing was just I would find it really hard not to laugh in that situation. And again, I think that's kind of a privilege of growing up in a society where, I mean, it's still dangerous for us to laugh at women. But again, if this is set in Iran, would you fuck? So, but yeah, I'd have found it really hard to have stood there and not laughed. But yeah, again, it's like, you know, the girl, I love that she kind of doesn't have a name, but the girl is, what's the word? Yeah, because she's like the anti-hero. So she only kills who she deems should be killed. She's not just out there killing everyone.
Exactly, yeah. It's like she targets people who like exploit people or like harm other people.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes her a bit less, she's more like a vigilante, like less like a traditional villain or like a horror villain. Because like she's kind of like a secret sort of protector.
Yeah.
But she's not like a hero, but she's not like a monster either. She seems like a very kind of complicated like anti-hero.
It's almost like, I feel like if you were to be turned into a vampire, those first few years have got to be rough because the bloodlust, everything else. And then I feel like once you've kind of got it under control and you can be a bit pickier with who you eat, like, would we not all kind of go this way and be like, yeah, no, I'm going to mess up some people that deserve it?
Definitely, yeah. For fucking sure. Like, you just would. Yeah, I think so. Because you'd just be like, yeah, I'm going to target creepy fucking scumbags.
Hell yeah.
Like, that's what I'm going to. Yeah, so I think there's not really any backstory to her, like, which I kind of like. Like, there's no, like, explanation, like, why she turned this way or how long she's been this way.
No.
But
we don't need it, though.
No, we don't need it.
Because also, again, like, if you were Arash and you met a vampire, like, I mean, I would be asking those questions, but like, but at the same time, you don't need to know that straight away. Like, you know, it's not Twilight. It's not gonna be like, how long have you been 17?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, you're sparkling. You're beautiful.
So shiny.
But the one thing I like, because obviously, like, we've covered a fair few vampire films, like, in our time, but like a lot of them are very like sexualized, and vampires kind of have that reputation of being quite sexy and lustful. But I really like how she's not sexualized, like in the way like female vampires often are. Like, there's no like performance for the male gaze or anything like that. Like, she's like very kind of observant and like it's all like on her own terms. She's never like has to please anyone or please any man sexually in order to like get what she wants. She just kind of fucking does it and doesn't really say much while she's doing it, which is quite nice. I think it's sort of like, even like the intimate moments, she's like setting the pace for how she's gonna handle it. It's not like, oh, I have to turn myself into this temptress to get the guy. Like, she fucking kills the man whether she's sexy or she isn't. Like, I quite
like
that.
Like hella sexy to just be like, I will kill this man. You're like, yeah, you will. But again, it's only the women that are like, yeah, you will.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh dear.
But yeah, she's very imperfect, and I guess that's what a lot of people like about the film. Like, she's not, because even if it is like a kind of feminist horror film, like, she still doesn't have to be completely likable. Like, she's still dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah, she kind of does it on the right side of wrong. Like, she kills scumbags, but at the same time, she is still a killer herself. So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting they didn't make her this like perfect, you know, anti-hero, this like perfect final girl almost. Like, it wasn't like that. It was very much like, no, like, she fucking kills everyone.
Yeah, it would have been quite easy to have her or have like a Dracula, and then, as he kept calling himself, have like a Dracula and have her as the handmaiden vampiress by the side. Whereas, yeah, like you say, actually wasn't. It was her in charge, her dictating everything. Yeah, it was also the first vampire story to be set in the Middle Eastern setting, or in a Middle Eastern setting, because I think it was filmed in Chicago.
Okay, cool.
Chicago's California.
I think it was California.
It was California. I literally had a sea name in my head, then it ran away. I like that it was so different, but I will acknowledge and say the things I struggle with is that it's so artsy, you know, those really long short shots are dragged out. But I like that it was different. Like, I can't think of another film like this.
No.
So like, fair play. Like, for
it had sort of all, yeah. it kind of had all like these things combined that you didn't that like shouldn't normally work, but kind of did. Like I had no idea like where this spaghetti western reference was coming from, and then I watched it and I could obviously like the music was very kind of, and the way it was shot in some places was very kind of western. So I get it, but it felt like, did they kind of, I don't know, like maybe that's me being ignorant, but it felt like, did they just add the western bit in there like for shits and gigs? Like I don't like, what was the real influence there?
Don't know enough about westerns to be
No.
like, because again in my head, westerns are like cowboys.
Yeah.
And there's like what do you call it?
Yeah.
A jewel at sundown or sunrise, or what do they call it? Dusk and dawn. So
like I understand the music was in there, like all of that, but like what was her reason to put it in?
Yeah, there was some really good. I did like the soundtrack, but
yeah, the soundtrack was really good. And I mentioned it briefly a minute ago, but like the way she wears the chador, and obviously that's like often seen by a lot of people as like symbol of restriction, about like restricting women, not allowing them to wear kind of what they want to wear. But as I kind of said before, it feels like in this film they're making it into like a superhero cape, or like something that kind of gives her power. And I really like that they're sort of, taking that back, because I did look a bit into like the history of it, and a lot of like Iranian women are very kind of pro it, because they think like this is like what we want to wear, this is our choice. And a lot of people are like, oh no, well it restricts women. So there's a lot of sides to it, and it kind of is up for debate a lot, that kind of.
And again, that's the huge difference. The people who are debating it are people that don't want to wear them. And it's like, yeah, but that's the point, is you have the choice.
Exactly.
And the people that want to wear them, it's their choice. And that's for me, that's what feminism is you having the choice.
Yeah.
Because once upon a time we didn't. It was you do X, Y, Z, and that was your life. And
and you're like trying to encourage someone to not wear something is still telling them what to do.
Yeah. Like again, like look at we were raised in quite a non-religious, non-restrictive school, and yet every girl that went to that school, like we may have been like in groups, and like this is that's our group style, but we all try, and you still had people who were very conservative.
Yeah.
And that could have been from religious backgrounds at home, that could have been from whatever, but we were all, we were raised in a very you wear what you want kind of culture, and actually you still did have people that dressed like that.
Yeah.
So again, it's choice, but as soon as it's like in the Middle East, people will like get really angry about it. The only thing though, because, and I could be wrong, but because obviously it's covering the hair, when he checked her ears to see the earrings, to see if she had holes, and her hair came out, I was like, oh, that, from what I know, I was like, oh, is that a bit of a taboo? Is that a bit of a no-go?
Yeah.
But she didn't tell him off for it. She didn't. So it was one of those where I was like, okay, well, I don't know. Again, like with my limited knowledge.
Yeah.
I thought that was taboo to, as a man, to see her hair.
I thought so too, actually.
Yeah, but I could be, that might not be why she's wearing it though. It might not be for religious reasons. Like you say, it might be because it's more like her cape.
Yeah. That's true, because obviously like he goes to like pierce her ear and then she kind of moves back. So you're right, it could have actually been because of the hair falling down, like not to do with like her, not wanting her ear pierced or whatever.
But I also don't know if she was choosing to dress and present in a certain way to blend in, but then there was other women in the film with their hair out, so again,
dressing a little bit more.
I mean, one of them was a sex worker, so obviously dressing more in line with their line of work. But I don't know, it was just, and obviously even the princess had her hair down with a male in her bedroom. So again, it's like, actually,
that's true. What's the actual, well, I mean, like the director, she's like Iranian American, so I guess it's kind of like reflecting on both cultures, like
Iranian American and born in England. I was like,
crazy, she's been about
I was like, Jesus, you've got, but again, having that many I can't think of the word, that many places to pull experiences from, because again, when we're saying it, it's like, actually, this is what we've heard, but I've never lived in Iran, I've never I've never experienced it. I've only heard it secondhand, third hand.
Yeah.
So
Same.
actually, yeah, if she knows,
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like
more
she's
likely.
combining everything she's kind of learned. But but then as you say, like where we grew up and how we grew up, like how would we know? You know,
Yeah.
that's alien to us, that kind of culture, because we're not used to it. So
Yeah.
I think
So
that's why like sometimes films like this are important to cover, because it's like, oh, like you kind of learn more about people's like other people's culture as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, I thought that was the thing, but it's like, well, actually, maybe it's not, or maybe it's
Ignorant
not.
Brits.
Yeah. And again, it's like, well, hang on, he was in her room, in the princess's room, and she was on the phone, and she was like, I don't have to get out, but he was like, it's inappropriate again. So I'm like, oh, I'd love to know how that actual situation would play out. And again, it's like we're looking at a very broad, everyone follows these rules in Iran. And it's like, actually, there is obviously some flexibility, and depending, we just don't know it because we don't live there.
Yeah, we don't know. It's like we just aren't aware of it, I guess. But yeah, really, that part of it was really interesting. But I do think a lot of the film was like about loneliness as well. It felt like she was very lonely. Arash was very lonely because he only really had his dad, who wasn't like, you know, around, like present for him. And I feel like, as I was saying earlier, he kind of just latched onto her when he found someone that he kind of connected with. And I guess like in a way she's kind of lonely too. I mean, you know, a lot of the time, like again, like as I said, vampires are very sexualized, but then when you do watch them in horror films, like they're very lonely too. Like they live forever, like they will have to watch everyone die, and like I guess it kind of like it reads into that a little bit. But yeah, like their relationship, like it feels genuine but really awkward at the same time. Like they really don't say a lot. Like, is it just two lonely people finding each other, or are they actually in love? Like, is this really a love story, or is it just that they happen to
be this? Because again, like you say, again, we're talking about vampires. But as you say, like, are they going to create a connection with someone because they're like, oh, you're only going to die in 80 years, 50 years, however old they are. So it is that where it's like, well, is she going to be, you know, she doesn't want to get too close? Is it that she just doesn't remember how to connect with humans? Or how to connect with someone because it's been so long? And again, like he hasn't got a solid structure for building relationships. So
exactly. It leaves a lot of questions unanswered, I think, the film.
That's a good way to put it.
What did you think of, like, well, I mean, I don't know if we're skipping too fast, but like the ending where he then sees the cat, because, you know, he's like, my dad has that cat, why is this cat with her? And it's like the penny drops and he discovers that, you know, she killed him. I loved that bit personally because it's like, fuck, he knows now and he's just watching her.
I think I was I mean, just summed it up really. Like, it's like watching him put it all together. And it's like all through a fucking cat, which was the cat wasn't even meant to be in the film, and like the cat's like the second character you meet.
Really?
Yeah, apparently the cat wasn't meant to be in the film, which is like it's one of these weird trivia things.
The cat was such an important thing though.
But this was my point. I was like, what do you mean the cat wasn't meant to be in the film? The cat was the second character, and also somehow so it does say, and I don't know if this is just someone being a dick, but Masuka the cat was not originally written into the script, but Amirpour was so impressed by his skills that she put him in the film. Now, I don't know what skill, because again, I was like, what do you mean he wasn't in the script? Like, how was it going to end originally?
And what do you mean skills?
Yeah, although apparently he initially refused to be in the film, but a few cans of sardines changed his mind. And I was like, I feel like someone's fucking with me, but I want to know, was he meant to be in the film or not? Like, and if he wasn't, what was the original ending?
How would that have all come about if he wasn't?
And again, like I am curious kind of what comes next, because it's like he's obviously like, aware.
Well, because like, but even the cat is like, when they're driving, the cat's in the middle. Like, he's very present in this film. And like, weird, really weird. But I think it was kind of fun, like seeing that, like not knowing what way it was going to go, because then obviously he like takes a break, gets out of the car, and like obviously considers what to do for a while. And like at that point I didn't know what he was going to do, and then he just looks at it. They look at each other like fondly, and then they just drive off, and it's kind of like, okay, he's just going to accept this.
Well, this was it. Is it like, actually you've helped me in a way?
Yeah,
like, yeah, again, it's that anti-hero, like, yeah, did you go the wrong way about it, but did you solve the problem?
True.
Or is he realizing she's a vampire? Is he realizing she's more than just a girl? I don't know. Yeah, it's I would have liked a bit more insight, but at the same time it would have been very weird if he'd suddenly done a monologue at the end of the film after barely speaking for the entire film.
That's true. Yeah, it kind of had to end in the same sort of format it started with.
It was fitting for the film, but I wanted it differently.
And they wanted to get out. Do you remember what the city was called? It was called like Bad City or something.
Like I said, quite on the nose for some of these like pimp.
And just a lot of like heroin addicts, a lot of drug addicts, pimps, sex workers, like a lot of stuff going on. It's ridiculous. I can't remember the name of the city, but it was something like
called Bad City.
It was something like that.
I wonder if that was actually what it was called, or if that was just like the translation. They were like, oh, we don't know any Iranian names. We'll just call it Bad City.
Maybe. Yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah, although apparently the director did write it in English first and then translated it into Persian.
Okay.
Which,
interesting.
I imagine because if she was living in America at the time, it's probably easier.
Yeah.
But again, like, I haven't written a script in 2 languages, so I don't know. So I would have thought she'd have called it something other than Bad City.
But yeah, I mean, this premiered at the 2014 Sundance Film Festival. So yeah, I guess at that point she was living in America and was just like, I need to write this in English.
But it was also a short film originally, so I want to know like how short it was, because I think it won an award for that. Because that's not stupid, but like some short films are literally like a minute long. So I'd be curious to know like how short it was, and if it was expanded, or if actually like under 2 hours. I feel like under 2 hours does not count as a short film.
No. Interesting. I didn't. No, I would like to know. I would definitely like to watch that as well. But no, I'm sure it wasn't under 2 hours.
This is the feature-length version of the original 2011 short. So I wonder if we can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, that would be very interesting, because I would like to do that. I would like to watch that for sure. Also, for any UK watchers, I don't know if it's the same elsewhere, but this is free to watch on YouTube at the moment. So if like you haven't watched it, but like if you have watched it, you're probably listening to this episode. But if you want to watch it again or whatever, it is on Amazon Prime, I believe, but it's also free to watch on YouTube. So get on that, because there's not a lot of free horror out there. So do it.
It doesn't
watch this short one.
I cannot find it. I have typed in "A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night" short, but it's still coming up with 1:40. So I want to know how short the original was. But it does say as well, like, a subtle commentary on sexual politics in Iran, which I feel like there was probably a lot in them I missed, because again, I don't know sexual politics in Iran. I only know secondhand information. So I feel like if you are watching this in Iran, you are probably getting a lot more out of it as well, because you're able to relate a lot more.
Yeah.
But again, it's like a nice insight for us, but we're never going to get the full picture.
That's true. Yeah, we're never going to fully understand it like others.
Yeah. But I do think,
can just try and appreciate it. Yeah. Sorry.
No, sorry. But it does say as well, because Arash feels crushed by the weight of the country's patriarchy, which we've already said actually about him being lonely and struggling and dealing with his father and everything else. So actually, even that's really clever to see it, the sexual politics and the patriarchy affecting a man. You don't always see that, because everyone always thinks about the patriarchy benefiting men. And actually, a lot of the time, they struggle as much as we do.
Yeah.
And but
that's true.
We talk about, because again, there's like the male loneliness epidemic, and then they still somehow blame that on women. We're like, you're so close to getting it. You're so close to realizing what the actual problem is. And somehow we get the blame.
You're still so close. Not quite there, but kind
So
of,
close.
you know.
You can do it. Just a bit harder. Just try a bit harder.
You can do it. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I think, I wasn't sure, like, with the black and white whole situation as well. Like, apparently, like, she was taking influence from Nosferatu, which obviously we've covered. Which I think did work in some places, because some of the shots I think were absolutely beautiful. Like some of the shots of her, like the further away ones, the ones where she, well, now I know is the director, just skating down, and it's a really quiet city, town or whatever. Like I thought that was really nice. So I think the black and white did work.
Yeah.
But yeah, not what I expected, but I really enjoyed it for sure.
I was almost expecting like one or two elements of color, like, you know how they've done where like, the blood is in red. I was expecting something like that, and when it didn't happen, I was like, I don't know, I was just kind of, it fit, but it was just funny that's now my norm. It's like, no, there will be a splash of color or something
somewhere. Yeah, that would have been quite cool. I think that would have been very artsy.
Yeah. Okay, well, what are you giving a girl who walks home alone at night spookies out of 5? And what was your favorite spooky moment?
My favorite spooky moment, I think, was when she first shows her fangs, because it's very subtle, like you said, Tell. Like you kind of forgot it was a vampire film at that point. And he's still like the pimp is still kind of going for it. Like he sees them and he's like, okay, let's keep going with this.
They're sharp. Let's just put my finger in them.
I know. And that just kind of had male stupidity, so that's always fun. But I'm gonna give this pretty high. I mean, if there's a 4, like I really enjoyed this. Just there were just some bits that were quite long for me, but it didn't take away all the rest of the film. And like I have since like spoken to other people about it, and I've enjoyed talking about it. So I definitely think I'd want to give it another go. Yeah, because there might be things in the second watch that maybe I've missed the first time. So yeah. What about you?
I am gonna say the skateboarding part, where it's the wide shot of her coming down in her face. I just think that was so powerful, and like the look on her face is that like freedom, that she's not scared of the night. And again, especially as a woman, knowing actually the fear we have sometimes walking and being out at night, like that was actually so nice. And with her, not with her, it wasn't a cape, but as you say, like when she's on her skateboard, it does look somewhere between vampire, somewhere between superhero, somewhere between Middle Eastern clothing, somewhere between Persian clothing. So it's she looks badass. So I'm gonna go with that bit. I'm gonna give it a 3. Again, I think it's personal. I'm not a huge fan of like artsy horror. I think it just goes on a bit long. And again, I can see that it's visually stunning. I can see what they're doing. I can see the metaphors, but it's just a bit lost on me, and I do apologize for that. Doesn't make it a bad film at all, just makes me a snob, ironically. Much like the anti-snob. I just want simple horror. It's very easy.
Well, think about what we're doing next week then.
Exactly. Absolute carnage. So again, I am curious though. I kind of wish I had, when we obviously first agreed this season, I wish I'd watched it then and then watched it again, because as you say, I do feel like there's probably a lot I missed. And there's probably people, very upset at me now to be like, you missed the point of this. And you're probably right, I probably did. But we will, again, as always, I reserve the right to change my mind.
Absolutely.
But do you think I might do. But do you think you would survive? What do they call it? The girl?
Yeah, I'm not a man.
I'm not a man, and I'm not a cunt, mostly.
Mostly.
I'm
not an arsehole most of the time.
I'm not an arsehole in the way that they are.
Yes. So yeah, I would totally survive. She'd love me. I'd be a fucking delight.
I'd be next to her on my fucking skates. Like we wouldn't have to say a word to each other, but we'd be best buds. Sorry,
I'll be running along.
Yeah, you'll be. I'll teach you to skate or skateboard. Don't worry. You could, or you're on your bicycle.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool. Yeah, we're gonna be downhill.
We got this. Yeah, we'll be the sexy vampire trio.
Fuck yeah.
Amazing. Wow, that was A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Join us again in a couple of weeks for our next episode. We are taking a bit of a left turn, so hopefully you come and join us for that craziness. Again, keep an eye on our socials to see what we're going to be up to in the next couple of weeks. And until then, bye.
Bye-bye.
Dun, dun. I think we're getting worse at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should stop. No, never.